there's a big test at 6 o'clock. And so just because of that, I think I'm going to demo my app today so that the people who didn't come don't get to see it. But we're going to start with hearing a little bit about Cursor, I think, and then from Anjali, and then we'll see some demos, and then I'll do a demo, and then we're going to allow some time to talk, and we'll talk about some more fun stuff we have from Mail. So I'll pass it off to you guys.
Cool, thank you, Josh. Hi guys, I'm Gabe. I actually took this class last semester, so good to be back, good to be in great company and see that there's so many people here. I'm the guy that Anjali emailed.
We've amped it up a lot.
Sorry?
We've amped it up a lot.
I can tell.
Everybody has to write code every week.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I've heard it's awesome, and like there's so many more people here than there were last semester, so this is really cool. Anyway, so I'm here because I'm the guy that Anjali emailed you about last week. So if you want Cursor Pro, I'm going to send off that list of emails to my Cursor contact tomorrow. So fill out that form if you haven't already. I've gotten 36 of you guys to fill it out, but I know that there's like 100 of you. So fill it out if you want Cursor Pro. It's free. It lasts a year. I used it to win Hack Texas this semester. Like I think Cursor is an amazing product. But I'm also a Cursor ambassador, so I might be a little bit biased. But you can use Cursor like you use Claude Code. It's in the command line. There's also an IDE. It's better than VS Code. So just want to let you guys know about that. Other than that, Anjali wanted me to let you guys know that Cafe Cursor is happening soon. I don't have a date or a location yet, but I did come today to talk to Aaron. So you should speak to Aaron. He really wants to be here. So
good.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Real quickly, like, how did you become a Claude, a Cursor ambassador, and like, why did you do that?
Yeah, I did it because I love the product. Like I've been using it for about a year now. The way how I even got access to this though is because I'm the vice president of ACM. It's like the large CS org on campus.
I get the magazine.
Sorry?
I get my magazine.
Oh, hell yeah,
Every
that's
month.
cool. I don't, my student subscription doesn't cover it, unfortunately, but you know, ACM is really cool. I'm not here to pitch that though. Yeah, they reached out to us, they wanted to find an ambassador, and I applied and I got it, so.
Awesome, cool. Well, thanks for coming and tell us about that. We have no other free credits right now, so.
Wow. I could get the Claude ambassador in touch with you guys, because I think they're also giving out free credits, so.
We are trying to get more credits, so yeah,
Okay.
we would love that, thank you.
Okay, Claude and then Enterprise Technology, anyway.
All right, no, I meant give it to Anjali. I wasn't kicking you out, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, awesome.
And one last thing, I'm so sorry. If you have any questions, ask Anjali for my email, or just like DM me on
Say your
LinkedIn
email.
or something. Okay, perfect, yeah. Don't ask Josh or Anjali, ask me. I'm the one that'll be able to answer your questions. So, yeah.
Should we take any questions while we're here?
Do we
Does
have,
anyone have
are
any?
you a Cursor expert?
Yeah,
All right, do we have Cursor questions?
Yes. Question.
yeah.
How many credits do you get?
Okay, so I think it's a little weird. Usually it's 20 credits, but if you don't use them all at once, it can stack up to 60. So I used like all $60 of my credits during Hack Texas, and it never stopped. It just kept working. It was amazing. So, anything else? All right, cool. Again, you
All
can
right,
DM
thanks.
me on LinkedIn or whatever. But yeah, cool. Thank you guys.
We're gonna start with the demos. So if we selected you, you guys come up, please. We'll do Signal first, so 3 Signal and then 3 Slack.
Yeah, we're mixing it up a little bit. We're going to do 6 instead of 10 today. I'm going to do a demo, and we'll have more time to talk a little bit. And then we'll talk. We're going to keep doing demos every week and pitches every week, but we're also going to talk about some ways to mix some stuff up too.
Always good. I'm honestly disappointed that it's not a full class because I love a good microphone. I built it for mobile.
Is it in the box?
Does it off?
Is it in the box?
Okay, that's my favorite one.
All right, does this work? I can't really tell from the signal. Okay, great. So my name is Sydney. I am oh, shoot. The thing is a bit heavy. Honestly, I kind of might want to do it on the computer so it's a bigger view. I'm honestly going to do that if you don't mind. Actually, no, I won't. Sorry. Yeah, if you hold the box is a real issue. Okay, so I'm a junior MIS major. I really need to silence my notifications. That would be embarrassing. I'm texting a lot of people about the marathon. Anyways, I'm a junior. I'm a Texas Kappa. I'm a MIS major. I was a finance major, a BAX major, a marketing major. I don't know what I want to do, and 80% of McCombs is finance and accounting, so I'm the black sheep of what's going on, and I don't have coding experience. But yeah, so this is an image. I'm gonna zoom in maybe a bit, hopefully. Okay, that doesn't help at all. But this is the Kappa House. So I served as the Texas Kappa Facility Director for the year of 2025, and it's the worst job on the full exec board. Absolute worst job. Won't go into that. But this isn't a part of my job. It's just something that pisses me off. If any of you know women my age, like 21 or even younger, I know Josh, you have younger daughters, they order a lot of packages. We love our packages. E-commerce has just blown up the past few years, and especially, yeah, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I was going to make a joke, but it might come off as like, a lot of people have their parents' cards still, and so they don't really care how many packages they order. Let's just put it that way. They don't really care how many times they order Amazon in a week. But nobody picks it up. They're so lazy. There's something about our generation, it's laziness. They don't track their packages. They don't really know when they come up. I mean, since I was a facility director, I got to open some unopened packages from like 4 years ago.
We need to get to the demo.
Yes, oh sorry. Anyways, there we go. Hang on, I'm going here. So this is Fetch, and Fetch is basically, it's a package tracking app for when the package crosses the doorstep for the facility. And so my apartment complex had something, but it was not as good. How do I get to the keyboard from? It was working when it's not plugged in.
Unplug it for a second.
Okay. The stand kind of makes it worse. Okay. So this is the demo. Eventually. Okay. Do it on my laptop? Okay. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Do it on my laptop. Oh, I'm sweating.
Do you need some time to set it up? Should we join
No.
up? All right, why don't we, Anjali, let's get the next two ready to go as well, though, so they're like ready to demo.
It's plugged in. I don't know why it's not. They can go ahead of me and I can think about this.
Okay, I got. Does the next person want to go? Whoever. Next,
Hello, my name is Rune Vidala. Sorry, there was a little technical issues. Replit wasn't loading and stuff, but here I am now. So I built a demo with Replit using Signal, creating Signal and putting my own spin on it. So essentially what I did here was I thought I really do like to use Signal. I like to use it. I like the concept of it being open source and being able to send messages securely in general. So even before this demo, I was always very interested in using Slack. Sorry. So the big thing here that I tried to do was actually try and add threads. So in Signal, I noticed that whenever I would try to message my friends, try to message my family, I would reply to them, and then I just thought the conversations would get very cluttered. Just with normal replies, like take like WhatsApp, I guess, which is very similar. So you just reply, and then you just like slide to reply, and then whenever you want to go back to that, you have to click onto that message specifically, and it just scrolls up. But instead, I thought, why not make it more like iMessage in general? Just be able to maintain a conversation. So I created a feature where you could view your different threads. So here, if you go here, you could see, say in a group chat, like, oh, here's this message, and you can see all these different replies here from different people to prevent cluttering and be able to go see people's messages much better. And I even implemented the same thing into different group chats as well. So here, see, so if I reply here, hi, and I want to view the thread, you can see everything here. So if this is a bigger conversation, then I thought it would be much easier to maintain conversation and things. And along with that, I still wanted to keep it centralized and make it, keeping the reasoning of why Signal is like such a good platform in general was, of course, its safety features and it being open source, right? So I tried to maintain that by still having these disappearing messages options, and along with that, just having a safety number here, just to be able to distinguish it from your average messaging platform. And yeah, honestly, if I had more time, I would have tried to make the features, implement more features and try to get the threading to look a bit better. And along with that, I tried to implement OpenAI as well, just to see like whenever I could add that, just to, like through calling and things. And so I just like experimented that with that a bit before removing it. And yeah, those were the main things I did for my spin on Signal. Thank you.
What's it look like if you put a couple more threads?
Yeah, so here, say, let's go back to the product team. So you could look at, so here was this old thread here of like, oh, that looked interesting. And then along with that, you could look at different ones just based off of whatever conversation there was. So there was these, and then there's also this one here. And so yeah, you could just view different ones based off of whatever, just keep maintain the clutter.
And then how did you get all those other chats? Did you make a bunch of different people?
Yeah, actually what I did was when I was actually creating this, I had the Signal desktop app on my computer. So I just like implemented some people that I already had, and just recreated that in general. So I just thought that would just be a cool way to start, just because it's the experience I have with the platform.
I was wondering about the back end, like does Replit handle that all for you? Do you have any?
Actually, yeah, it does. But it did make things using React for the front end in general, otherwise, Replit does handle everything else like from the ground up, which is very nice. I mean, I was able to start just with like a good prompt, just based off of what I wanted, and with a good screenshot of what my Signal already looked like and the way I liked it. So it made it very appealing to the way I wanted it.
So do you know how it's like implementing different messaging on the back end, or it's like handles it and can you deploy it now?
Yeah, actually it did handle it, but I didn't really deploy it actually. Yeah, this is all just a preview, and yeah, part of the problem was it took a while just to load the website in general. So, but yeah, I never published it or anything. Yeah.
So like it's not real like people, right?
No, not at all.
How did you prompt it for like fake mock data like that?
Oh, it literally like it's just the product team part it made on its own, but the rest of these are actually like my friends' names here. That it just like duplicated from my screenshot of Signal that I had put in originally.
Are they real chats, or did you just tell it to make example users?
Yeah, no, it like, yeah, these are example users, like mock data essentially. But,
So basically,
yeah.
you showed it the screenshot. You said, make example users like these
Yeah.
with chats.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Super smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said that you were experimenting with AI integration, but like what features like were you testing that you created?
Well, I originally did when I for a bit I did want to implement OpenAI just to see, like, I wanted to see if it could, like, if I could get it to just respond to people, like to make these people like real personas.
Oh.
That was just me messing around, I guess you could say. I just noticed once I did that, there was like a glitch. Every time I would text, it would just respond LOL in every single chat. So that's why I was like, ah, this is stupid. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I even had it to where even if you called and stuff, like it would respond. Like if I just called someone, or it would even just talk to me. So I thought that was pretty cool for a bit. But I took that out. I mean, used a lot of credits. So. Yeah.
Do you fully implement the security number, or is it just like a mock-up?
It's a mock-up. Yeah. But I did want to make sure that it still had like those features of Signal, that instead of just being like your average like bare bones messaging app.
So it says end-to-end encrypted, but it's not end-to-end encrypted.
No, it's not actually. This is just a preview. But yeah, I guess if the messages, if I were up here and the messages didn't work, I mean, I would just say they're encrypted, to be honest. Make
So,
a
but
better
like,
demo.
what would it take to make it end-to-end encrypted?
Honestly, I think if in order to really make it end-to-end encrypted, I think it would just have to go through, like, make sure
Would you
that.
just tell it, like, make it end-to-end encrypted?
I mean, I guess, but I think that's easier said than done.
Yeah, a couple comments. A lot of times Replit will just set up an SQL database.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so, and sometimes it'll do an in-memory one, so if you care. So the messages, there's a second level design decision over what you do about security, because you can see all the messages in the SQL and how it does the delete and stuff like that. So, the other thing I'll mention is you really should publish and run your demo off a checkpoint that won't move on you.
Okay.
And I don't, otherwise you're going to change something at the last minute, it's not going to work. So the nicely published is it puts a snapshot out in the web, and just demos break over all kinds of things. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that next time. Thank
So
you.
yeah, let's make that a guideline for the future. All right, thanks. Good job. All right, ready to roll.
Can I airplay from my phone? No, this is your call, because my computer, my ports don't work. I don't know why.
That's creative. All right, whatever we got to do to make it work.
Okay, so I'm entering my phone number. This is the dashboard. So Fetch is, again, it's a package shop, but I specifically made it for the niche of like sororities where many girls forget to pick up their packages. So that's to sign in. So I struggled, so I made a,
We literally invested in a company called Fetch that built package things like this. I
Really?
swear to God.
okay, well, I get a zero. I'm just sitting
No,
here.
that makes it good. Yeah. They raised millions of dollars.
Yes, and so I made it to where I'm both an admin and a user, and so this is, I guess, the dashboard. So if I was to be someone that was scanning packages, which we might have our facility director do, you scan the label, you allow it to look at your package, and then is the camera working online? I don't think so, but my camera is on my phone, and then,
This is why you have the package.
dadgummit, it's not gonna let me do it on Zoom. Well, I have the camera on my phone. I'm so depressed. It's not working. Hang on.
You can only do one camera at once.
Well, that's it, but it should work now. Okay.
Oh, look, you
Hey,
got it.
I'm gonna cry. No, I'm kidding. And then you scan for your name, so then you hit scan for name, and then it picks up the name as well as the carrier. So it's my name, and then it's USPS, and that's through Gemini, which is a tool I built this on Lovable. Again, no coding background. I mean, I know the general concepts, but. And then this is mine. I made the numbers encrypted because, as you'll see here, the directory is actually real Texas Kappas. I had them agree, consent for me to use their names and information in this demo, but their numbers are encrypted, and then it's a register and notify. So then it notifies me that I have a package, and it says, fetch, you have a package. And I wanted this to be SMS notifications, but I ran into a lot of issues. Tried to use Twilio, set up a full account there, realized you have to have an LLC and a government ID to be able to send. And then I didn't use any other APIs because I wasted so much time trying to figure out Twilio. So I'll be honest there, but then you can say I picked it up, and then it says you have a package, and basically I set up the code so where it reminds every 4 hours until the person has physically claimed their package, because people are just lazy, and so if you bombard them enough times, they're gonna finally pick it up. And then something that I thought was fun, I took it from Aura Ring, so I basically asked in terms of UI UX for it to create something that looked a little bit like Aura. I like it's all simple, and so I had activity, and so basically I thought, how do we get more people to pick up their packages? We shame them into picking up their packages. So it's a live dashboard of like people that haven't picked up their packages. And so then you have and so these are real people, and I had it generate fake packages outstanding, and then you can see your carrier breakdown, whether that's USPS, UPS, I don't know, it's kind of boring.
This is pretty great. So are you going to actually use this in your sorority?
I've thought about it. I think just time is of the essence. Like, is the real problem people don't know they have a package, or are people lazy?
If they'll install the app, then you don't need the notification. Then you don't need Twilio.
I'm sorry?
If they all install the app, they don't need Twilio.
Right, it would just be a notification banner. I've thought about it. I think, I'd have to think about pricing, like would I actually turn. Oh, if they install the app, then I don't have to do Twilio.
Yeah, just make
so
it for you,
just
for you to use for free. Like, you're really close. Like,
yeah.
I think it looks really fun. I think
Okay,
you would use
yeah,
it.
thank you. And then this is admin, so again, I'm both an admin and also a user, so then I can send a pending reminder, and so then it automatically notifies all of those people. But again, I just wanted to be simple because
I think Capital Factory might use this.
we have a lot of staff that is like over
Actually,
the
we're not
age of
supposed to get
50, or like they've been our kitchen staff or something like that, and I wanted to create something where they could use it really simply.
All right, make it work. That's your next step.
Okay.
We'll publish it. Good job.
My
Or
friends
10
live in
questions.
buildings in New York City. This is a huge problem in New York City because they're in old buildings that weren't built to have on Amazon. And they have whole rooms that are full of packages.
Yeah.
Like that. So are you going to drop out of school to pursue this?
I have another idea that deals with shared payment methods, but I want an invisible card to execute the transaction, and you can make more money off interchange fees, so I'm kind of thinking about that one, but.
I like the leaderboard, especially. That was really
I thought it
fun
was
and
funny.
cool. And someone got 22 packages in a month. That's going to, raise some eyebrows. That's interesting.
I've seen it all.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is really cool. It's just easy, simple, slick, and I can't see why it wouldn't work.
Appreciate it. Yes?
I would say you should think about incentives for the users to download it, because right now it's solving problems for the admins, so they'll probably pay for it. But
I would require all 70 of the people that live in the house to download it as the facility director, but that's, yeah.
Well, but you want to get your
Not to
packages.
answer.
You want to get your packages.
well, yeah, but like they're lazy, so maybe they're fine.
I would also manually onboard them through the CSV file because I have all of their information. And then I would force them to download it.
So this is great, but I would say that this is definitely a good reminder of the real-world roadblocks that you run into. So I also ran into the Twilio problem a month or two ago, where it's like, you're like, go through everything, you're like, oh yeah, it's free, blah, blah, blah. You sign up, you're like, yeah, you can't have a number.
Yep.
And so you go through this sort of new US authentication crap that's annoying, and then it actually took weeks, and I was like, okay, no Twilio for me.
It takes 2 weeks to verify, so you can't even do a demo on it.
But that should, everyone should sort of think about that for if they're doing stuff for real, because it can happen in a lot of other ways. Like I have another app or a website that I'm in the process of trying to turn on, but I've been waiting for 12 hours for a certificate now. I'm like, why is this taking 12 hours? I don't know, it should have taken 5 minutes, but some things just become annoying. And also my other big recommendation on startups, always Google the thing that you're going to call it Fetch. You should Google Fetch first. If you're going to call it anything, just Google it first, because it's amazing how many people that you see pitches from, and you're like, did you actually Google this? Like in real life, like trying to actually raise money.
It's just an obvious name. It's like a good name.
Well, it's a good name, but I'm just saying, but in general, I see lots of things where people did barely any research coming into it, which is not part of this class, so this is not a penalty for you. It's just in general, if you think about doing this and,
Finding people that are doing what you're doing is a good sign. That's like, this is a big problem. It's still, even though people have built a lot of solutions for it, it's still not really solved. So.
My originally pitch was something completely different.
Awesome. All right, good job. Next one. So wait, was that Signal or was that?
Signal.
Kind of, the SMS was.
I like it. I can go with that.
Perfect. Do you hear
Nope.
me? Yeah. Is that working? Okay, good. Hey everyone, I'm Sal, and as you guys can see, I'm using Slack. Tools I used for this was mainly Claude Code and Stitch, but basically before we dive in, just wanted to get a quick raise of hands. How many of you guys have used like iMessage or WhatsApp or some messaging tool just to organize a meetup, maybe hang out, and it took more than one message? Raise your hand. 2 messages, 3, 5, 10, 50? I see a few hands. Thousands, exactly. Well, guess what? You're not alone. Even in the professional setting, it takes more than one message just to organize a meeting last minute, or just have a one-on-one chat with someone. It takes a lot of time just coordinating a lot of things. And with the technology that we have right now, I think it could be a lot faster. And so that's kind of the theme of this demo. And so I'll be showing you some kind of iterations that I made related to kind of looking at unread messages, scheduling meetings in a faster way, and that sort of thing. So starting with the first feature here, the MVP is called Chord Pilot, by the way, but this feature is like the coordination hub. And so basically what you can do here is, say you had like a last minute meeting pop up and you wanted to just talk to your team tomorrow, and there's like 10 people on your team, right? You don't want to message everyone again and again. So this will help you out. So say you want to schedule a meeting tomorrow for 30 minutes. This will send it out for you. So this goes to the innovation team. You can choose a channel, select the recipients, and it automatically makes a message for you. And what's cool is that in text, it's like a scheduling thing, and it will send you a message with like a poll attached to it. And I'll show you in a second how this looks in like the chat. But you can track how this looks. And so if you go to the innovation team channel, you can see that the message actually sent there. And so going back here to see like the statistics, just for the sake of this, I'm gonna send like some auto responses. And when you do this, you see automatic responses with the reply, how it looks, like the sent replies, and the poll results. And if you're too tired of reading everything and looking at it, it can generate you a summary too. And so this is very useful because now the meeting manager can know when to exactly schedule the meeting. But beyond that, say you have a lot of notifications, right? You see 22 notifications. I'm not going through the pain of reading all this. So let's summarize it, and you get required responses, people who directly mentioned you or addressing you. You see all of that, and you're getting suggested actions on how to go about it. And let's say now you want to actually make a reply, right? So this will also help you out with that. Just say, so are you available for a quick sync at 3 p.m. today? Just say, no, I'm busy, have to eat lunch or something. Okay, seen that. You can generate a draft, and it makes you a message. Don't have to waste the time making it professionally and all of that, and sends it out for you. And this was in the innovations team too, and if you kind of go up, you can see that it actually happened. And so these are kind of like the main features that I was focusing on. And one of the problems I actually kind of ran into is making it look like a thread. It would often like just output the message just right after another, and it wouldn't look like a conversation. But through an iteration, I was able to kind of address that and make that better. And in terms of next steps, I really want to kind of add like a calendar connection so it knows exactly like your availability, so you don't have to type in times anymore, and it'll like realize, okay, these are the only times that work for you and other people, and it'll only suggest those in a poll. But yeah, this is my demo. Thank you guys for listening.
So did it change your message when you responded and said, I want to eat lunch? It says,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have a scheduling conflict?
You press the button, and it like rewrote it.
It rewrote it for you? Oh, I see
Yeah.
the way out. I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, don't ever say that to your boss. This was a much better answer. How would you bring the conversation to a close, though, to get an actual time scheduled?
So, I
Could
think-
the AI do that for you? Could the AI run down all the threads and say, here's the resolution?
Yeah, that's a great question. As of right now, this can't, but I'm hoping that, through the development of this idea, it gets like the context and kind of like understands how a user responds typically, like the timelines, how long it takes, and then it'll automatically output that message after like an approval from the user or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess there's a couple ways of looking at this. One is, here's something I built, let me show you all the features. That's typically like a show and tell. I think we should, first of all, it was a very good job, I like the pitch, but I think we should keep in mind that the demos are really just pitches again. And so you want to come in with the story, which you did a good job with, here's what it is, and then just kind of, instead of like, I'm going to show you this feature next, it just evolves, and here's the next thing I need to do, and here's how I do it in the app. And you'll notice like the rewriting, TJ didn't catch, which is very common because you kind of need to go slow and make sure you point out the important things. So I think when you do your demos, I'd say like 3 key features is probably all you can do, and linked with the stories, kind of walk them through. And yeah, it's 90% of the stuff of work you did we're not going to see, but that's just life.
Thank you.
What I like on this one is you're tackling a really common problem in business, and it's especially common, it's a lot more challenging when you don't have access to people's calendars. Like usually if you're within the same company, you can see who's available at certain times. It makes it a lot easier to do this, but it's really hard if you're trying to schedule a board meeting, and people, you have a lot of people, a lot of admins involved, and lots of complicated schedules. So if you could bring this down to actually cracking that problem, it'd be really great. Then I heard a use case from a real estate agent who told me one of her hardest things to do, time-consuming things to do, is to schedule visits where they show like 5 or 6 homes to a prospective buyer during the course of a day. So now you have location is another dimension in this, and you have lots of people involved. You have the buyer, their agent, the sellers potentially, and their agent and their home. So you're trying to get availability across multiple different people and in a geo. They say that takes hours to figure out. So that would be a pretty valuable one. Also.
Yeah, I'll come with the idea that the summarize is a really powerful feature. So you have multiple threads, and you forget what the status is of various ones. So just having a button which says, here's where this thread is and whether I have an action or not. I think just showing that's like, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can almost not have to draw the layers on top of it, but do that analysis on top of what's there as well. Yeah, I think this is really interesting. You did a good job. It looks good. It's like in interesting directions. I think some of the challenges that you've hit into that are the kind of, these are really hard problems, are like user interfaces are really hard, showing lots of information, and like threading, like all that's complicated, right? And how does it not become more complicated? Where you're trying to summarize information, but now there's more information, like more stuff I have to read. And like seeing a big list of like all these things I need to follow up on, like it's like, all right, now I have a bunch more to-dos. And it's like, is it, and I'm not saying that's good or like, it's not good. I think back here hopeful, but like, it's that balance of like, am I giving you more work to do or less to go do? So anyway, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Over the questions?
One more question.
Personally, I thought this was really nicely developed and clean. What did you use to make it?
Yeah, I think someone last week recommended using Stitch. I forgot who, but that was really useful. It was just like an LLM version of Figma, and where you can just type what you want and like how the UI should look like. And so I literally put a screenshot of like Slack as an app and recognize exactly how it should look. And so it just you just copy paste the code and it saves you a lot of time.
Is there a free and pro version to that?
That was completely free. I don't know how many credits I have left, but it's free. Yeah.
Yeah, Stitch is a Google thing, so it's probably going to be tied to your Google thing. I don't know, I've never run out of anything on it, so I don't know. Plus you can send stuff from Stitch right into Google AI Studio, which will then turn it into code. And then you can attach it to a backend in like code or something like that. Highly recommend.
All right. Those are all great. I like different takes on it. Now we have 3 more.
Okay, cool. Hello everyone, my name is Camila. I'm a sophomore computer science major and I built this web app using Lovable. So I've assistant directed many different projects from student short films to TV shows that are airing locally in Austin. And everybody thinks the director is the boss on set. I'm telling you, you are wrong. It is the AD. They are in charge of combing through hours and hours and hours of scheduling, of keeping everyone in check, of getting the prop list. Basically, everything going on behind the scenes that's not creative. The #1 issue that I found is communication, having everything centralized in one place. That's how I came up with the solution Slate, which is a Slack-like web-based platform that basically combines all the different features that's going around on set in one location. So we'll start with the view from the assistant director. We have our different channels. So we have general, announcements, cast, crew, locations, where you are able to kind of send messages and basically communicate with the cast and crew any updates. For example, if I had a blocker and I needed crew to drop off something in like the war room, I can send that here. I can even pin the message so that I can make sure it's important for everyone to see. Next up, we have availability. This is an extremely large issue. As I was working on this project, at the same time, I was creating a call sheet for a production going on from Friday to Sunday. On Thursday night, I realized one of our actors is busy during every single scene I scheduled him for. He did not let me know. He just silently updated a spreadsheet that I already checked a week prior. So, in order to avoid having a situation like that happen again, we can have scheduling, like marking when you're available, all on this singular platform. So we can have checking when you're available, when you're having any conflicts, and leaving things unconfirmed, so that we can have this all in a central location. Additionally, we have a digitized call sheet. For those who are unfamiliar, a call sheet is basically has every information, all the information you need for filming for the weekend. So we have our location, call time, the different scenes we're shooting, and just all of this miscellaneous information that can be very, very hard to like congest when you're just looking at a still PDF. With this, we're able to have cast crew, crew view, and we're able to get very specific about what the individual actually needs to be looking at and what information they actually need. I wasn't able to implement a feature that I wanted, which is being able to upload the call sheet in order to convert it to this design, which I want to continue updating because I do want to pursue creating this project. But you can see that we kind of have everything on here along with updates, department notes, etc. Lastly, we have the Ask Slate AI. I am tired of people asking me questions of things that are already on the call sheet. Am I supposed to bring books? Read the call sheet. Where are we meeting? Read the call sheet. So, instead of bothering me, you can bother Ask Slate AI, asking what time am I going to arrive? It will only use the call sheet, so it doesn't have any sort of AI hallucinations, to provide a simple and concise response. It also uses pinned messages, so it can also use pinned messages and use that as information to call from when replying with answers. The final thing that I would love to apply further on is having different views for the different views for the different categories that I selected. So far, it's all pretty similar, and I would love for you to not even have to look at crew view because actors are actors; they don't like crew. And that is all. Thank you for listening.
That's one of the best ones I've seen so far. That's awesome.
Yeah, excellent framing of the problem. You worked it into a story, and I thought on all the key pillars you were
bringing us to the solution each time. And so I thought the flow was really, really nice. Keeps everybody engaged. By turning it into a story, you know, it's more relatable. So I thought you did a great job.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good job too. And from a demo standpoint, you know, you don't have separate logins for different roles, but it's very understandable what's going on, and you can see how you take this forward. So if I was like evaluating this idea, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where it's going, which is enough for a demo, for a first demo.
My favorite part was the Q&A function, which just really is very relatable when you get many, many pages of information about an event or a school event or whatever it is, and then you just want to know one thing, and it's really hard to find, so I love that part.
There's always a lot of value in creating like a custom workflow for a very special situation. As you said, in the past, there's always been a balance of, well, how much work is it to go make this? And like, are there enough people to use it to be worth doing this and to maintain it? And like, wow, we can't make like a custom thing for everybody. But now, because of AI, you can. Like now, like you can go make something just for this use case. And even though there's like, you know, maybe not like a market to go make a $10 billion company around it, you can make something that works for you. And I think this is just an awesome example of that, and looks super useful, and I hope you use it. Like, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'll just add, like, on the business side, the next step wouldn't be adding more features, it would be going to talking to people. And that would help you prioritize stuff, and it'd be actually pretty easy in this town to go say, hey, I have a thing to make all this easier.
Questions for the last?
We actually worked together last semester on a production near ABM's after.
Oh,
yeah, I could really see us using this because communication was on, I think, Groupie.
Yes.
Over then, it was so confusing, and I didn't know what to do, so I could really see us using this. I also have a question. When you reloaded the page, I saw this like breaking. When you like reloaded the page, I think. Yeah, yeah.
You mean the picker of the dates and times when you're available?
No, this. Okay, I was just wondering what this was.
Oh, yeah, sorry, this is just the start screen.
Is it gonna look different for everybody and prompt different things depending on your role?
Right now, the view is consistent across the roles, but moving forward, I would definitely want to have a more limited view for across different roles. But for this, it's more of an admin.
Cool. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, awesome. That was awesome.
Did you win any awards in your show?
It was the best movie. You did. I never watched it. So actually send that to me. Yeah. I'll get you the link.
Hi, my name's Sonica. I'm a sophomore CS major, and this is my MVP recap flow. So I'm currently a researcher at the Living with Robots laboratory, and in our lab, we actually use Slack for day-to-day communication. You can't see it here, but our workspace is actually pinned because of how often I have to refer to it. But apart from Slack, we use email for our official meeting recaps, and having these two separate platforms makes it really hard for us to hold each other accountable, and even harder to consistently follow through on action items. And that's the problem that Recap Flow is designed to solve. So essentially, I built a Slack-style workspace with an integrated recap bot, and the target audience for this is professors, graduate students, and undergraduate researchers, all in academic labs. And essentially, what you can see is that on the left, there are different channels, and this kind of mimics how Slack is overviewed. And right now, I'm in the lab meetings channel, so I can type, I can send messages, but what essentially makes this MVP different from Slack is the recap bot over here. And what you can do is you can paste your meeting recap email, and this will essentially generate a summary with action items. So right now, the email that I've pasted is just a sample email that kind of mocks what emails look like from our professor. And essentially, this will use AI to summarize the meeting and then automatically extract like the key action items. And instead of having like a long email that most of the time gets ignored, the recap is posted directly into the channel with all the clear deadlines. It's not working right now, but I can show it. But it shows all the clear deadlines and essentially all the information. So this is an example that I have from earlier when I was testing this. It essentially took the long email and extracted out the key important things that were coming up. And then when you click view action items, you can actually see all of the different tasks that are available. And currently I have all these tasks claimed, but you can unclaim tasks, you can claim tasks depending on what you need to work on in a specific week. And then after that, you can actually filter through the tasks that you have claimed. This item I already completed, so I have it marked out. And from this, essentially, you can go into the task dashboard. And from there, you can actually see all of the tasks across all of the recaps. In the lab meeting channel, there's multiple recaps because of the weekly meetings that we have. And so you can see all of your tasks aggregated into the dashboard, which makes it a lot easier for you to see what you need to work on. And I actually added this dashboard as an iteration because I felt like it would improve usability and it reduces the overall friction. If I had more time, I think the next step would be actually integrating this directly into Slack. For the MVP, I just wanted to test the idea and see how it would look. But my overall end goal would be to actually incorporate this into Slack. And I think this is something that our lab could greatly benefit from. Thank you.
I think you did a great job explaining the problem, and it's really relatable. There's in work, there's so many meetings going on. I remember being so excited when these note-taking apps came out, and now I'm realizing I can't even get back to the summaries that they're creating of the meetings that we're having, and what you're really trying to get to, I think, is these outputs of to-dos. Who's got what? Are we covered so we can keep moving ahead? Did stuff get done? And so I think it's a really good use case, and you laid it out well.
Summaries of the summaries.
Yeah, down to tickets almost, that's like the actual tasks.
Yeah. This looks really interesting. Just to compare where there's like one after the other, I know, in both cases, like I'm not a filmmaker and I'm also not like in these biolab projects. And I think I got a little lost in the story of like who's doing what, or like I couldn't, like I don't really have an understanding of like, I guess in the case of the movie, it's been a little bit more relatable. Like I understand that a little bit better. So like she's talking about the crew versus the actors. Like I know who they are, but I don't have a good sense of like who's in this group or like what is going on in here. So a little bit, you don't have to answer now, just like a little bit more of the like simplifying that down, I think would help.
Yeah, or showing like here's the email you had, and here's how it turned it into here's how it found the tasks and created the tasks. So you can see that translation.
Yeah, really good. Just thinking about the presentation, which is it's a little bit second order, but like once it all works, then it's like how do I communicate it well? Like when you first popped it open, you had I could see the whole thread there, which kind of pulls your eyes onto that. I would start like at an empty screen, whatever, describe the problem, and then you flip over and say, oh no, my gosh, look at this mess that I have, and then here's what I do. So. Really good, but I think just how you focus the audience on things is worth thinking about.
Question, in the unclaimed ones, it seems to have names. So Raj is supposed to do this, Dr. Kim, Alex, and so on. Does the system know that that's assigned to Alex, and this just means that Alex hasn't come in to grab it yet? Or does the system not associate Alex with a person yet?
So right now, this just has like mock data. So essentially, in the email that the professor sent, it would say that like this is a task for a specific person, and it essentially shows up in the unclaimed task so that everyone can see that it's someone. Okay.
They have to come in and say, Raj would say, okay, I got this. Okay. Great. Thanks.
Hello. My name is Lakshmi. I'm a sophomore CS major, and I used codex, a lot of codex for this. So imagine you're a team leader, or just really anyone in a Slack channel, right? And you quickly need to decide something. And you message your teammates and you're like, okay, we need to decide something quick. Let's hop on a Zoom real quick. And everyone's like, okay, that sounds great. Everyone hearts the message. And now you're on Zoom and there's only 2 people there. There's 5 people in your team. Where did the other 3 people go? So you go back to Slack and you're like, hey, where's the rest of everyone? Come on, like we need to go on this call. And then you come back and there's 3 more people. Where did the 2 other people go? So I saw this as a common problem, and my other friends who are also in orgs, they see this as a common problem, and I felt that this was really important to introduce as a feature in Slack. So this is my take on Slack, Slack MC. Essentially creating a low friction option for people to join meetings, not replacing Zoom, but just an option so we can get the other 3 people that were missing before to join now. So I'm gonna log in as Adam, and it's just like a regular Slack. As we can see here, down below, product launch, we have all of the text here. And let's say I'm about to start a meeting. So we have a generate agenda option, and this essentially takes all the messages that have been in the Slack before, and it recommends you an agenda to start with on questions that have been asked and topics that need to be answered. So I look at it, there's unresolved questions, there's some blockers that haven't been addressed yet, so I'm like, okay, this is great, let me go ahead and start. So I'm gonna start the meeting with this agenda, and there we go, we have a meeting going on. I'm speaking right now in the meeting, and then Marcus is speaking, so it kind of like just jumps back and forth. And let's say Alex just decided that we're gonna be using ChatGPT to ship the AI spec. Add ChatGPT. And then the AI essentially looks that a decision was made in the live transcript and asks the person who's in the meeting right now, who just typed the transcript up, whether this decision is an actual decision that was made. And yes, we decided to use ChatGPT, so I'm going to confirm. And now we have it in the live summary that is available now, and that it has been confirmed as a decision that has been made in the meeting. So I made my decision, so I'm going to end the meeting. And now we have a recap of what has been made in the meeting. And that's just not it. The Room AI that we just ended the meeting of sends the recap of what just happened in the meeting back into the same Slack channel that we just started the meeting in. And if I wanted to go back to the knowledge base, this essentially is another screen that shows me what has been covered in the meeting room so far. And another tab that I decided to add was the Insights button. So this is essentially after many, many meetings, and if there have been questions that have been answered or asked several times and haven't been answered yet, or if there have been long-running blockers that haven't been addressed yet, then it shows up in the Insights page. This is essentially to provide reminders for the people in that channel, hey, this hasn't been answered yet, or this hasn't been solved yet, so we need to go and take a look at this. If I had to continue to work on this a little more, I would definitely try to make sure the AI detects more ambiguity when it comes to decision detecting. Not everyone's going to say, we've decided, or decision, comma, blah, blah, blah. So definitely having the ability to feed through the AI and have it detect multiple different types of when something has been decided or when something's been answered, definitely training the AI to be able to detect that would be my future step. Thank you for listening.
So impressive, there's lots of things in here. When you do your demos, instead of like what, so like you said, hey, let's look at the insights next. I would encourage you to always think about why. So we're going through this good story, and then it's just like, and now the problem is I can't see my previous one, here's where it is. So yeah.
I think, clearly messaging is a big problem. Like in these meetings are a big problem. You look at a little bit of a trend between the past few of these of like keeping track of all these different pieces and different ways to go do it. I was trying to understand with yours when it's listening for someone making a decision. Then what was the confirmation step? Like why do you have to confirm the decision?
If it like incorrectly detected a decision, then it asks the human, whoever like wrote the transcript in, because it wants to make sure that it confirmed that, oh, did I detect the decision correctly? So it kind of puts still the person, whoever's in the meeting, back in control. So it's not the AI making the decisions on their own every single time and just adding it, because if I were to look at the live meeting summary later and say, hey, that wasn't actually a decision I made, it asks for that double confirmation to make sure that it made a proper decision.
Yeah, I would keep, I would agree with what's been said. I would keep focusing on the problem and framing that, and that just builds a story around the whole walkthrough and keeps people focused on, okay, I see what we're doing, why we're doing it. Because ultimately we're here to problem solve.
I really like your UI. What were the steps that you took to develop that?
So I put it into Google Stitch and I said, can you make me a website that looks like Slack? And I said my favorite color is blue. So can you make it Slack? Can you make Slack look a little, have the color scheme of blue? And it presented that, and I was like, this looks great. First try, I don't have to do it again. And yeah, I just went with this design. I liked it a lot. So.
Sounds like Stitch is resonating with the UI. Yeah, pretty nice job.
It's pretty cool.
All right, great, thanks. Is there any more demos today from the students? All right. So those were great, really good. I think we've improved a lot, and they're getting to be, I like how there's just more people have their own takes on what we're doing. I'd like to see people continue to take things further. Like, I like that, you know, get them published and really be showing something working. And push yourself on, like, okay, that part doesn't really work. Like, just tell it to make it work. Like, it can make all that stuff work. If you have it on the screen, like, it's not like you have to make it work. Be like, hey, go make that work. Go do that. So are you gonna?
I can add a comment real quick.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing about Stitch is when you design it, you can, there's like, it's really hidden. You have the dot, 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 and it'll say share or export, and you can export it to Google AI Studio, which will then send all the pictures into Google AI Studio, and then it auto-populates, make it real is the prompt. So you're like, just go.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for...
Before we hop into that, just say a couple of comments about the demos. So this is a rather low-stress demo layout here. I mean, usually it's just like I'm trying to pitch to someone for money or something, and you're much more worried. And anything that could possibly go wrong will go wrong, right? So I think what I want to encourage in the future is we really should give some time to test your, whenever you bring your own computer to somewhere else to demo, it's going to break, right? So let's
like if I were got an email that said you're going to demo today, I'd probably show up a little bit early and go plug my computer in and like make sure it's going to work.
Yeah, so you always want to test your stuff, and then as we go further along, you want to think about, well, can people read what I'm showing? You know, just because you have the whole screen doesn't mean you get to show it all. So you can zoom in on stuff. So that's kind of like the next level of my story, and can the audience tell, and is it going to work? So yeah, so let's think about that for the next time as we improve these.
Yeah, to Eric's point, you don't know where things are going to break, and they do, and it can just be because you have a bad connection or something like that that's not your fault. So I often open multiple, when I do have a quiet time, I'll open multiple tabs, other iterations. So it's like, okay, if I get stuck here, I can flip over to this tab and keep moving, and I can keep moving, and just so you can still show your way through the product with open tabs already ready to go in case you hit a snag somewhere.
Because, I mean, yours broke when you demoed it.
Yeah.
Opening day.
Thanks for bringing that up, Eric.
That's right. Providing a learning experience.
Exactly, yes.
We actually
real-time learning experience, yeah. And you want to be able to kind of bulletproof it so you can keep moving.
So yeah, the other thing to think about when you do demos is cooking demos. So in cooking shows, you have to bake something for 45 minutes or an hour. You obviously don't want people to wait for 45 minutes or an hour, so you have another screen open with the solution. So one company that I was the CEO of until recently is biology, and everything takes, it's like, and you do this, and then you wait 3 months, and then you get this. So you have to be able to bridge that gap somehow, because a lot of times things break or things just take a lot of time.
Yeah, just to continue, your job isn't to show people that it works. which is actually kind of boring. You know, it's to show the idea of it happening. So like switching through tabs, and you know, you don't need to prove that it's actually working under the covers in the initial demo. That's not the point. It's the flow of how it all works.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to go over some feedback we had in general so far. Great job on submitting. All the ideas look really good. One important thing is please show your face in the demo video. Some people are starting to like dismiss that now. You will get points off, so please be careful about that. Also, we're realizing that some people are kind of assuming iterations are just bug fixes, but they're kind of more than that. Take a look at your product, maybe the first time through, and see like, if I was a user, like what would I want differently? It's not a bug fix, but more of like refining an idea and kind of iterating through that. Also, as like we saw today, a lot of the best MVPs have really specific problems. It's hard to tackle like the world. It's easy to tackle one specific problem, and your solution will be a lot stronger.
That's great feedback.
And then last thing is that some people want like to know what's going on if they're missing points, and also like let's say you're getting a full score, but you want to know why you're not pitching up here today. Visit office hours. We're here to help you. Or you can send an email. My office hours are Thursday from 11 to 12 in the morning. So please join if you are wondering like anything about your demo. But yeah.
That was great feedback. All right, thank you. Thanks to our TAs. Great. Are we ran by next? Next week's assignment, go for it.
Same thing, we're pushing TikTok or Uber, and like Josh said last week, if you know you have your own ideas, you want to put your own spin on it, go ahead. Don't feel like you have to stick to only what we're giving you guys. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right, so next up, we've got a guest visitor, which is Rambod. Rambod took the Longhorn Startup class, which was the last class we were teaching, where we were out to work on a startup in class, and he's still working on the startup. So we thought we'd invite him up for maybe kind of 10 minutes or so to tell you more about what he's working on, what his journey's been like, and let you guys ask him some questions. So come on up.
So I haven't prepared anything special, but happy to like talk about the journey. Definitely, like I used to lead the MacBook Pro design at Apple last year, but always like had taken Josh's class like 5 or 6 years back when I was doing my PhD. I kind of knew if I needed to like find more software engineers to work with, this was the place to join. So we started, got paired up with some really good mentors, including Eric. And I think they won. They like drove it home that we have to keep experimenting. We had a product that people were paying like $500 for, and to us, I was like, people are paying for it. And then Eric was like, come on, like, you probably can charge more. And so we started from there. And I remember when he was saying something like upwards of 10K, it looked very weird. Like, I'm like, how am I gonna ask for that? We just sold a deal. We just had a deal last week that was $150,000. So it's kind of like the scale is changing. Yeah, so we're trying to do an AI mechanical engineer, but to do all the like repetitive like manual work that mechanical engineers do. So today, if someone asks you how much the part that you just designed weighs, you would have to go to CAD, open it up, find out its density, probably doesn't have a material assignment, go like find the density somewhere else, do the math. But this agent can just do it for you, right? There's no creative work involved in that. And I think what we started learning is a lot of what we are able to do is exactly what Josh was saying earlier. It's like that code gen is so helpful that you wouldn't be able to do this agent that makes like $5 million. No one would fund that. But now if my co-founder Zach can do it in like 3 months, then it starts to make sense. And you can do that agent and do one more agent. So that's what we're like heavily leaning into. Anyone who we bring onto the team, we make sure they use CodeGen from day one and get that going. But yeah, so it's been a great experience. Also, like we ended up getting an office here because I run into investors and influential people all the time. So it's been a great time here, and so far things are growing. So it's been good. Yeah, happy to dig into like any parts of that, like customer discoveries or.
Explain how you got your first big customer exactly.
Yeah. So I think if people haven't read the Mom Test, like that was one of the big things for me, like just learning how to be comfortable asking people about what their pain points are. It even though you don't have anything to offer back. So we started doing that, and then Zimmer, I met their CEO in a conference back in March last year, where I just quit Apple. Like they already had 0 products. We just knew we wanted to do something for medical device companies, and just kept it warm. Every few months, we made some progress. Hope you're doing good, and it's like, yeah, good, thanks. And then finally, when we launched, I actually said some of your old directors are in this company that just purchased this, and they're loving it. I think you should know. And then that's when he looped in his CTO. Turned out everyone was trying to figure out what to do with AI. So that was the big thing. The timing for us worked out. Even these bigger companies, like they have a lot of smart people, none of them are willing to sit down for months to try to figure out what is the right AI solution. So they're heavily leaning into vendors. And so for us, it was a good time to do that for them.
And were they willing? Tell the team about the kids class about what they're willing to share, describing the pain they're going through, what they wanted to be better.
Yeah.
How that influenced what you were building.
Yeah. So one of the, I think, good learnings for me was like when you start with CEO level, CEOs, CTOs, they really don't know much about daily workflows. And so that's why Eric was saying you got to do that thought leadership and like tell them that be confident saying that I can come to Zimmer and figure this out for you. It's okay that you haven't seen all these daily workflows. So we showed them the demo and they were impressed, but I think they had no idea who would use this or how many people in their company would use this. But like that really helped us bypass all the. We also talked to Johnson & Johnson and like Stryker and went from director level up and got blocked by IT. But like going down to Zimmer, that was kind of like helpful having CEOs backing to then now.
Can you explain what you just said again, just like in more words? So like, what did it mean to get blocked by IT, and what did it mean to come from the top down from the CEO?
And also, like, when did you start this product line, and how many touches and contacts? How much did it really take?
Yeah, I think Zimmer, since the day we told them like we have a product that you should know, I think it was back in September, October. So a lot of like back and forth. We just have to be patient with some of these bigger deals. But yeah, so the difference between enterprise and I think mid-sized companies is like when you're selling to enterprises, there's that department, IT department, that thinks they can do everything, right? And it's all headache for them. Like onboarding a software is all headache for IT. Like they're not going to get the value out of it. So we kept going to director level. They kept saying, yes, we would love to have this tool for my team. Let's set up a company-wide demo so everyone can see it. And then we would get an email saying, IT asked us not to do that. They have a list of things they need. They'll go find vendors for it. And we're like, you just told us you need this. Like, how is this not on that list? But it's just the way it is. So my learning so far has been, especially with AI, because there's like so much fear around training on their data and things like that. You want to really have someone who can say it's okay. Like IT needs to work with these guys. So
that's how you cut through. Ultimately, was somebody senior said, "Wait, we're going to try this."
Yeah.
Okay. They kind of put their foot down and said,
"Yeah." Like CTO is now directly on the project. So
yeah.
He pops in for 5 minutes and CTO of Zimmer. I don't know how else he would have access to this guy.
Right.
But yeah, we're now going to their facility. We were like, we said it's a requirement on our end to come spend time in person with customers, and you made it happen. Like I think a lot of things are just so much easier when you have the backing.
Right, and then explain how in the world did you get the client to pay you to develop the product?
Yeah, so that's an interesting. I honestly don't know. I want to go and figure out more on why they're okay with this, but I think that might ultimately end up being cheaper for them. I don't know what do you think? $150,000 for Zimmer's is worth. I think that's nothing. They have millions of dollars set aside to figure this AI thing out, and for us to come in and just charge for engineering time, I think it's a bargain for them.
Yeah. So I guess what I want the class to be able to understand is going on here. In a lot of companies, you might say, most companies would go say, oh, I need to raise a bunch of money so that I can solve a problem, and then I'm going to go sell it to a company. But what Rambot did was completely flip that around, and he went to the company, and they realized, wow, this would be great if we had the solution. He said, okay, give me some money, and I'll go build it, and I'll go see if I can build it for you. It wasn't even a guarantee, right? So I'm going to go try to build this for you. And they're willing to pay him $150,000 to go fund him to go try to solve the problem in the first place. which was such a great.
Without asking for ownership of the company. It's not even like we're investing.
Yeah,
We're
just
like
if
if
you
you
can
want
go
to
make
hassle
this
for
work.
them to invest, they're just like,
Right.
just pay you, just see if you get it going.
So, so back to the timeline. So when did you come up with this product? Because you pivoted multiple times. So when did you say, hey, this is the industry?
Yeah, October was when the product wasn't really
October.
working,
Okay, so then
but
how-
we could demo.
How many, well, even before that, when you decided to do it, we'll say summer?
Yeah.
How many meetings, how many people did you talk to from the, hey, I have an idea, to getting money?
I think we met, I emailed the CEO maybe like 5 or 6
No, just in
times.
general, everyone.
Oh, everyone. Oh, yeah. We met like 150 companies. Like, I made it a goal to meet 15 companies weekly. So you should be, if you're doing market research, you should be maxing out your LinkedIn outreach. Like on Monday afternoon, you should be getting like no more requests. And then you have like 2 or 3 people on your team. So you're able to reach out on like roughly 250 each of you. So just hit anyone that takes that first call with you. Sometimes you even would take the call with an engineer who would then make the introductions to their management that can purchase, because not all the engineers have purchasing power. But yeah, we maxed out all of our LinkedIn outreach. And then after a while, when you start knowing people in that segment, like asking for warm intros is a lot more effective. So then just like instead of doing that, just pick a few people you need to meet. And like if Josh knows them or Eric knows them on LinkedIn, just be like, do you mind connecting us? And if you're being nice to people, they do the same thing. They make you good to the next person.
Yes, I have a couple comments on this. 100 to 200 customer discovery meetings is best practices, and that's what you should think you need to do. And that's a lot of work. And when I see early stage companies, that's where you see them fall out. They just don't do the work to do that. The other thing is, Rambod has no industry expertise in medical devices. So how in the world is he talking to CEOs and selling them something? And the answer is he's had 100 meetings before he talked to the CEO and listened to all their problems. At that point, he has enough expertise. So you show up, he knows what the problem is, knows about AI, and that has given him credibility. And then if you pick an important problem like this one, they're like, well, I need to be doing something, and that's how you get money. But if it wouldn't have been a pressing time like AI, you do something, or if he wouldn't have done all those pre-meetings where he could talk about the industry, he wouldn't have gotten a check.
Yeah, you can't overemphasize what Eric is highlighting. Several people have asked me, how do you come up with an idea? How do you found an idea that works in the market? And what Rambod's process is a classic way to come up with an idea that will actually work, because he had the persistence to go to the client in the first place and say, what's your pain? He had 100 meetings where he figured out some consistency and repetition in a story where customers were articulating the same pain in the process. And like, this is what really is rough about my job, and I wish I was better about my job, and what's costing us a lot of time and money in process. And so he kept hearing that and became an expert on that problem and how to devise a solution for it. So when he finally was ready and got back in touch with the CEO, he was ready to stand at the plate and hit the ball out of the park, because he had brought himself up to speed on what this problem is in the industry. Now, sometimes you might get a company the very first time that says, hey, come in here and I'm going to tell you about my problem, and it might be Zimmer, and you say, oh my God, I just heard about this problem in Zimmer where it's just a really hair on fire problem and they're having a terrible time with it. And what's the problem in going off and building a solution for that? What's the problem with that? So if you have one meeting and the client's telling you about this crazy problem they're having inside of Zimmer, what's the problem with launching into a solution for that? Yes. Yeah. And so you're only hearing it from one business. And so you might be building something that won't be sellable in the market to other companies. A lot less valuable, even though it might be the third largest medical device company in the country. That's not repeat, it's not something you can bring to market and sell to lots of companies. Versus what Rambod did, which was hearing it and starting to hear, wow, there's the same problem over and over and over. Big
That's
difference.
Like, it kind of exactly happened to us. Like once they aligned that yes, they wanted to like do a POC in AI, they came back with the team and they presented the problem to us. So like, we want you to solve this. And I was kind of going back and forth with Eric. I was like, this is the fastest way in. We can say yes and get it started. But then finally we were like, we showed up to the meeting. We said, actually, you're thinking too small. Like, what is this? Like, this is not something that helps Zimmer long term. I don't want to do a one-off project. You're not going to get the learnings after. And then they went radio silent for 2 weeks. You're like, we lost the deal. But he came back and said, okay, let's do your part.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like knowing what everyone knows, it helps you not doing those like custom workflow or just one-off project.
Right. And, you know, I also just really want to emphasize how, when you got this deal, what's really going on in the mechanics inside the business. What Rambod is saying is like, look, he's taking a humble approach. He's not coming in the front door and saying, I have the solution to your problems. He's not saying that. He's actually saying the opposite of that. He's saying, we have a smart team, and we want to understand your problem, and I think if you want to work with us, then what you'll have is a commitment from us that we will do everything we can to go try to solve that problem for you. See how different that is than like a, you know, like a cocky salesperson might come in and do that? Opposite approach, you're gonna lose that deal. He was being the humble entrepreneur and saying, look, I don't know that I have the answer, but you have my commitment that I'm gonna do everything I can to try to solve it and produce something for you that's like really valuable. And that's what the hook and the bait where it worked. You know, you can do that. That's like a very viable way to start a business. Very viable. And you go around business to business, and they're going to tell you about their problems. You know, I think that Rambod and his team had the patience to wait until they heard it over and over. And now they're educating themselves, and they're ready to go engage. And people will be much more in the boat with you on trying to work with you to solve that problem. And that's just really done a great job.
All right.
Yeah.
I was wondering how many customers you talked to and they reviewed the problem. Did you realize that this is actually a problem? Is there like a number that you thought was a golden number or something?
I think the mom test like says 20. I wasn't back with that listing. Honestly, it took me like 50 or 60 meetings. At first, everyone tells you about search. Like, talk to anyone, they're like, oh, finding data is hard. So we go back and you like we need to do something for that. We need to like help them find information. But then after a while, you just realize that's like people just nagging at their daily, like what just happened. Like, of course, finding information is not like if it's gonna be solved, it's gonna be like something that's commoditized. But that's not the thing for you as a startup to go solve for them. So you go through some of those and you're like, oh, actually, this is not the one. And then you go back and re-listen. Definitely use like other or granola, like record the meetings, and then when you re-listen to it, you realize how biased you were. It was like the thing you thought was right. So it does take a
Rambod, in the next phase of your company, let's say assuming you get to a success with Zimmer, then how do you think about changing it from a one-off solution to something that you could sell in the market, and how would you think about going about that to approach other companies, making it repeatable?
Yeah, some of the ways you can do that for us, for example, like being able to parse and understand mechanical drawings was needed in this project, and I knew like just having worked as a mechanical engineer is like a really big thing to master. So now that we've like improved that over time, starting with Zimmer, we've just reused what we had. Like these agents, they all do a specific thing, but the skills they need to be able to read your databases, to be able to do that, some of them are very shared. So I think it gets easier and easier. With Zimmer, like one of our goals is because they want to use that, they need to validate that module. So we're going to come out of this deal with being able to say this is validated. We can just reset it to anyone else. But honestly, like we're just gonna, as we told them, we're gonna go there for 2 weeks in person. We'll figure out, maybe we'll come back with a completely different product after.
Yeah, I think in your fundraising journey that you're on, when you're talking to investors, I think that'll be a big proof point if you could show, look, we were able to go from Zimmer so that we're not just a consulting company doing one-off projects for individual companies, turning it into, now, okay, now we've got like 3 clients and it's repeatable. Now you've got a product, you know, versus just a consulting engagement.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you all.
Yeah, great.
All right. We've got one more demo. Can I plug in? So technically have a computer science degree. Never been a very good programmer.
How the tables have turned, and now we get to heckle.
I started my company in college and started hiring programmers. There we go. And so I learned, I programmed a lot in Perl. I did a lot of like text processing, a lot of like email, like, you know, networking stuff. Never really programmed any kind of user interface or GUI before in any, you know, any real way of, you know, basic familiarity. And never programmed anything like for Swift or macOS or anything like that. And so the problem that I have is I have like a vacation place, and I'll often be there waiting for people to come, and they're coming on like different flights, and so I'm kind of like sitting there waiting for them to come. And then especially lately, it seems like flights get delayed all the time, and so and I don't know if everybody would really want this, but for me, it's like I want to see. I'm like, I'll have like the TV up in the living room, and I'm like, I want to like throw the flight up on the TV and like watch it coming and let me know like when it actually arrives. And so I go on the App Store and I'm thinking like there's a million flight trackers, and so there must be like some flight tracker app. And so I search, and there's one flight tracker app I could find, and it was like did not look very good. And so I loaded it up, and it's like kind of crappy. Like it doesn't really work. Like the user interface kind of sucks. Like it's like hard to use, and then like won't ever find my flight, and so like it just didn't really work. So like really, like there's only like I know there's like a lot for the phone. There's like a bunch of really good flight tracking apps, and so I just was thinking about it for a while. And like as I heard about all the AI programming stuff, I was like thinking like, well, I should build an app, you know, but didn't. And so then finally, maybe a few months ago, 2 months ago, I went to ChatGPT, and I just said, I want to build an Apple TV app that like, you know, is a flight tracker and takes my flight and maps it and shows what it's doing. And so I just started in ChatGPT, and it told me to go like download Xcode and launch Xcode and make a project, and at first I was doing almost everything like copying and pasting stuff out of ChatGPT. I did this like for probably like 20 or 30 hours of it, like too long, and it was pretty inefficient. But I actually got like in the simulator like a fully working thing where probably more looking like this, where the Apple TV would show. This is obviously the iPhone version, but the Apple TV would show the flight, and I could see like on a real map, and this is like a real live flight. And I could see like how much time till it's landing, and like this little like drive time to the airport, and I was like, wow, this is like, you know, I was actually pretty impressed. The map, the line showing with the flight, and I gotta zoom out a little bit. Showing like where the flight's coming from. This is a flight from SFO, and it's coming to Austin. It's gonna land in 28 minutes, right? You've got all the little details, but yeah, I got it working pretty. I was like, wow, like, that was pretty cool. And so then I was like. So everyone's talking about Claude all the time, and I was like, oh, it's like, why is Claude better? And like, Eric's been talking about it, and how I can like edit files directly, and I was really having all this trouble going back and forth. And for some reason, like the GitHub connection to ChatGPT was not working right, and so it couldn't do stuff automatically. I didn't try Codex, so I don't know about Codex. So finally, I dig into Claude, and oh my god, I fucking love Claude. Like, I mean, so in total, I probably spent like one good weekend and a few other days working on this on ChatGPT, and I probably spent maybe 3 weekends working on it on Claude. And like, for me, a weekend meant like I woke up Saturday and I worked on it till I went to bed on Saturday, and then I probably worked on it like a couple hours on, you know, like half a day on Sundays. Like it's probably like 15, 20 hours on the weekend, like a lot. So it's, you know, maybe there's like less than 100 hours into this, like 80 hours or something. But when it started going in Claude, it started going really fast. And also like I started making way fewer bugs, cause I was just messing everything up, cutting and pasting stuff back and forth, and it not being able to see the whole repository. And I never touched any code. I've never like typed any code or anything like that. I just tell it to do everything. Even when it's like telling it like, hey, like make it take 10, like so it does some like auto zoom stuff. And so right now it's 26 minutes. So at 30 minutes it zooms in a little closer. And then at 15 minutes, or 14 minutes actually, it's gonna zoom in closer again. And that's just based on like trying to keep it in view and looking good. And so I'll just tell Claude, I'll be like, change the, you know, flight arrival time from 14 minutes to 15 minutes or 13 minutes. And it'll change it. And then, you know, things like, you know, getting, the things that were like, so getting it working was actually really easy. And like doing stuff on Apple's awesome. It's so easy. I just use all the native shit. So it's like, this like, at this point right now, I have it working on like my TV, iPhone, iPad, watch, like, and my computer. They all sync through iCloud, like completely automatically. I don't have to do anything. If I favorite this flight, like it'll like show up, like, and I had this on my TV right now, the little star would light up and it would like get favorited like 2 seconds later. And within this, I've got like recents and favorites, and those are all synced through iCloud across all the devices automatically, like super cool. So that was like, all those things are really easy, like getting the drive time super easy. So this loading screen, like I was like, okay, I just told it, I was like, make a loading screen that takes 1 million of plane emojis and has them flying all over the screen at once. And like, I mean, it took a couple tries, but like, it basically did that. And then I tweaked it a whole bunch. Like, then once it had that all working, I was like optimizing like how many planes to get it to look nice on the, not like get clunky. And then I had it optimized a few times to, because it found a bunch of ways just to make it more efficient, just drawing them so it didn't draw them slow. And then at one point I realized they were like, it was drawing them, this is like the like a tiniest bit of like graphics knowledge or any programming like GUI knowledge, was like, they were appearing on the side of the screen because it was drawing them right at the edge of the screen, and it was drawing them in the middle, so like half the plane was showing up. So I had to like tell it like draw the planes off screen and like, you know, before they come on so that they look nice coming on. And then at another time I told it like, don't put all the planes on at once, start with 10 planes and just add more planes over time. But these little things that like, but you could just like tweak it little by little. And the animation kept getting better and cooler. Then at some point I had it working on the TV and I'm like, all right, like make me an iPad app. And like, I mean, again, like a couple, 3 tries of like fixing some bugs, but like an hour later I had an iPad app, you know, like that was like basically doing the same stuff. And then, okay, make me an iPhone app. I'm like, I have an iPhone app. Technically I have an Android app I've never tried to run. So then I'm like thinking about it, and like, so my CTO at Capitol Factory is actually based in Portugal. He lives in Lisbon, and of course I want to show this to him. So I was like, I'm getting ready to send it to him. I haven't sent it to him yet. But if I'm going to send it to him, like, well, it can't be in English, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, like, internationalize this, like, make it work in all the different languages in all the different places, and figure out what that means. And so it's like, all right, it goes through, and it's like, well, you need to change like the things from like, you know, normal to metric, and you need to like do this, and you know, this is how they do this in this country, and then okay, we need to like go replace all the text and make a big table of all the different languages. I'm like great, go do that. Did all of it. Totally, like, I haven't fully tested that yet, but I'm pretty sure it works. Actually, I've seen it work, because one time it got confused and I thought I was in Spain and everything was in Spanish. And so, you know, like little things like, I was like, one point I was like, hey, you know, like when the plane is less than 30 minutes away, make the text at the bottom show up in yellow. Right? Easy, just tell it to do that. Like, it does that. It only did it on the TV. I was like, hey, you need to make that go work on all the other ones too. There's flight info for all these different things. And you notice like kind of the way it pops up, it like slides up and down. And so on one of them, it would like do the card flip, it would like flip around, you can like just tell it to do all those things. Some of the biggest problems I've had have been like little user interface things, mostly on the Apple TV actually, a little bit here. Like on the Apple TV, like what you can select or focus on gets like sometimes I'm like, I can't click on this. Like it won't let me, and I have to like get it to try a few different times. What else? Like on also like just sometimes it would get confused about what was in the favorites list. And like I can rename the flights, so you can see like Joburg. That's my like I went to Africa over the holidays. This is the flight we took from Atlanta to Johannesburg. She flies overnight every night, so it's a pretty good flight to have for testing because it doesn't leave for 2 hours, but it flies for 15 hours. So it's like basically every night when I'm working on this flight is always going. So it's an easy one to watch, but if I want to go change the name of it, I can just like click on it, put in like a different name, and it'll save that name and customize it. So like an example of a flight I would want to watch is like the flight that goes from Austin to Mexico, where my like vacation house is all the time, because we're always watching the same flights, right? And I could have them on there.
And to add one, you just search it up on the top.
Yeah, you can just type any flight. You can have a flight number up here. You type like AA 100, and it'll pull up that flight. Right now it's taxiing. And then another cool thing is like I was trying to test this, right? And I'm like, okay, well, how do I test it? And so on the Apple TV, I don't have it on the phone, but because it's not as like it's not as really much of a use case. But on the TV, you can actually browse airports. So I can be like, show. And so one of the first things I made is like I was like, show me all the flights nearby, and it actually just like searches for flights that are near me, so that I can then grab one of those to go look at. But I wanted the one to be able to test like different things, and so I built in a whole testing architecture, which I did by telling it build a testing architecture where if I type $? Landing, it finds me a flight that's landing. And I gave it and then I gave it a few examples and it just filled in the rest. And then I also told it to autocomplete. So you can see if I type a $, you can see all these different basically test flights that it knows how to go find. And so a flight about to land, a flight in the air, a flight about to take off, a flight that just landed, because these are all things I might want to test and see what it looks like. And so if I want to test like if the yellow is showing up when it's landing, I pick a landing flight and hopefully it works, but it'll come pull up a flight, and hopefully it'll be less than 30 minutes, and it'll be yellow. And so it's going and searching through different flights, and it looks for ones that are close by, and looks it's landing in less than 29 minutes. And so then I was like having problems where like I would go try to find these, and even I pressed, like I told it to do it, but then I'd press the button and it would show me a flight that like was not landing, or like I'd hit it and it would be like, sorry, flight not found. Like it's like just wasn't working right, even though I hadn't really tested it. So then I was like, all right, go write a test harness for the testing flights. And what I want you to do is go through and call each one 25 times. And I already have also a unit test in here as well, which I didn't write any of or anything. I just told it to make unit tests. And anytime something wasn't working well, it's like, go make more unit tests for that. But I said, go make unit tests for each of the test harnesses. So when did it find a flight that's really landing? Like the test, did it really do that? And then now write a test that runs each of them 25 times and checks each one to see if it really returned one that meets the criteria. And so it went and it did that, and it came back and gave me this whole report and was like, okay, I ran it, blah, 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 and 6 of the 8 passed, but these 2 didn't, and here's where it failed, and then it could go find that. And actually, in getting it to do that, of course, at first it wanted to run that in the app, so I'd have to go like run the thing on the TV, pull down all the logs, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be a pain in the butt. I don't want to do that over and over again. I'm like, can you run this and get the look at first? And then so then I was like, can you just look at the logs? And it went through like 8 different tries of trying to tail the logs, and for some reason it just like couldn't get the logs off the Apple TV. It kept trying different things. I'm gonna try this type of logging. I'll try this type of logging. I'll try this type of logging. Couldn't find it. Never getting into logs. So finally, I'm like, all right, instead, can you just like run this on the command line and pipe the output and then actually see the logs so I don't even have to do it? And it was like, yeah, I can do that. And so then it wrote this different whole test harness. So now I can just tell it, test the testing stuff. And it goes through and it runs all the tests like in the background, and it comes back and gives me the report. And then similarly, like I have, like every time it starts up, I have like all these unit tests going, just like testing every different thing. Every time something doesn't work right, I'm like, go write some more tests for that. So,
Question then,
quick, random, long stuff, but those are all things. And so basically, like, there's a lot of probably a much better flight tracking apps out there. Like, I'm sure as soon as I showed this, actually, Andrew was like, "Have you seen this one? It's way better." The guy, I know the guy who makes it. He lives in Austin. I'm like, "Thanks a lot." But no, I mean, I'm impressed myself. It's pretty cool. Like, it looks pretty good. So I mean, I just like, as far as like what I expected you guys, like, yeah, this was like kind of 4 weekends. But like, I don't fucking know anything. I've been programming like 20 years. Like, you guys are like, you should know how to program better than me. And have been doing it more recently. And like, I just was like figuring, like, this was me like banging my head against Claude. So, yeah, like, I just think, I think you guys are doing great, but like, I want to see you guys like building real shit. Like, I think you can. Like, you can do some really, like, you can go build real apps and real things. This is all real. This is using real flight data. I told it, go find the flight data. It was like, well, do you want to use this API, this API, or this API? It was like, these two are crappy, this one costs money. Of course, I tried the crappy ones first. I had it working with those for a long time. And finally, I was like, all right, just switch to the one that's actually good and costs money. But, and it did all that for me. And then it was like, go to the website, create an account, give me the key. It does all the flight data. But, you know, the map stuff, automatic. I didn't have to do anything for that. Totally easy. Right? All the iCloud integration, you know? So, and Android has similar kind of tools. So anyway, I'm just like, I don't know anything. Like, I just literally just like, I know what I want. I'm a user. I use all this stuff. I know what it's supposed to look like. I'm like, that doesn't look right. Oh, other stuff, I put in my instructions for Claude. Follow the Apple design guidelines. And I often I have a whole code review thing I built where I'm like, do a code review. When do you do a code? And it has all this stuff to check. And it's just like, check that we follow the design guidelines. Check that there's consistency between the iPhone app and the Apple TV app and the iPad app. And like, it can just like run through and check all this stuff for me. Sorry, who's gonna ask?
Oh, when you were talking about the testing that you built, did you try going further and saying, now, if you find a problem, can you fix it? Can we work?
It pretty much, Claude just does that.
It just will.
Yeah, and the other thing I
have
found
to tell
between
it
Claude and ChatGPT, like, Claude is more aggressive about doing things.
Yeah.
Like, ChatGPT will be like, oh, I found this, would you like me to do this? Claude's like, I found this, and I fixed it. Or like, and sometimes it does too much. Sometimes I'll be like, it'll be like, I tried this, I tried it. I'll try, like, I'm trying to fix something. It tries like 3 or 4 times. It's like, that wasn't working. So I just hacked it this other way. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't hack it. No, go fucking fix it. Like, I want it to work the right way. Like, you weren't supposed to hack it, but it'll like totally hack it sometimes. And so Claude also has this concept of planning mode. And so like, you often have to tell Claude, like, you'll be like, explicitly, like, go into planning mode. That means like, don't fucking do anything. Okay? Like, just like, plan out what you're gonna do and give me a plan and I will tell you whether or not to go do it. Because otherwise it might just go do a bunch of shit.
This is pretty awesome and like it's very well suited to like your use case where you want it on like different like the Apple TV and stuff. But you should definitely check out this app called Flighty.
That was the one Andrew told me to look at. But they don't have an Apple TV app.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. And like the other thing was like different like use cases, like different like people, right? So it's like Flighty is like, who's it for? So like what I thought, I hadn't seen Flighty, but what I think of as like the gold standard is called FlightAware. And that is where most of the data comes from. They run the really good API. And their app is really good, but it is for pilots. Like if you look at it, like I believe, like it's for pilots. Like it's like really good if you're a pilot. And it looks like an aviation app. And like it's kind of like not user friendly. Now Flighty, I just looked at, looks super user friendly, like really nice. But still, it's like, it's all about like notifying me when my flight's late. Like I'm traveling, tell me what's going on. And this is a different use case. And that's like, maybe that's a better one or like there's more people for it. But this one is like, I'm watching other people's flights. And I don't know if you noticed, like for example, like the flight is the whole view. Like it's like takes over the whole screen, like on the iPhone or on the TV, right? But like, so I've just been thinking about this today, even just as I saw Flighty, but it's just like, yeah, this is just like a different, it's still, to me, it's like a different use case and like probably still much more niche. But this is like, I want to monitor other flights. I'm not actually on the flights. I don't really care if there's a lot of fucking weather. Actually, all I really care about is like, when's it going to get there? Like, you know, like, and and I don't really like, it's not like Flighty's like the fastest notifications. Like, I don't know, they just notice this is their marketing. Like, I don't care if the notification's like a minute late. Like, that's not my problem with this thing. So anyway, I just think those are just like different use cases. But Flighty looks great. Looks awesome.
Did you run into this problem, or has anyone run into the problem where you have been working on something for so long and the context window gets too long and it gets kind of dumb?
So that's another thing that is really good about Claude, is because Claude, first of all, is looking at a file system, like you're working in a folder. So anything, and it can write files. So anything you put in a file, it's never going to forget. Because it's in the file. It's like fixed, right? And so then you can tell it, like, edit the file. Like, it's not going to forget that. And then it has, you have to tell it like something, and it goes back and reads the file. It goes back and looks at your code.
Yeah.
And then what Claude does is it basically has this compacting feature where it automatically after a period of time goes and says, my chat's getting too long, give me a break. And it goes and it like summarizes the whole chat and starts a new chat with that in it. Like simple explanation of it, so that you're able to like keep going, and it's trying to like keep the most important parts. Probably not perfect, but it allows you to just like keep working. But sometimes I'll have to tell it, like for example, like it was doing this really stupid thing where like it kept, it still does this. Like I can notice I'm just watching what it's doing, and like it's building the iOS builds, and every time it tries to build to like the iOS target simulator, and it doesn't specify it right. And so then it tries again and figures out, okay, I have to call it this. And I just see it in the log every time, and I see it taking longer to do everything because it's like trying, like, it just looks like just banging its head against the wall every time. Like, why do you like keep making this error over and over? And it figures it out every time, but it just like keeps doing it. And so, so I'm like, make a note to like not do that. And honestly, it's still not quite, it's still kind of doing it. But I'm like, I tried to like tell it to put it in its own instructions, like basically build instructions to remember this or not to go do it. What? The expensive one.
Oh, the $200 a month?
Yeah. What do you think? Sorry, what do you think matters about that?
So if you're,
This is really good. I want to hear this. This is good feedback.
So if you're having token problems or limit problems, you should split your usage between the Claude app and Claude Code, because Claude Code has system prompts that are extremely long, so you'll eat a lot of prompts there. So, and for a bunch of reasons, I am also on the super plan, so I don't care as much about tokens, but I usually hit about 95 to 97% of my max plan quota every week, so I do care a little bit. But I find that the app, which has a much less specific set of system prompts, does better for like design and specs. So what I've been doing is doing design and spec work there, because it eats a lot less tokens and you get better outcomes, and then using that to create the spec that I then feed to Claude Code to iterate in Claude Code. And that will save you a reasonable amount of tokens, not a ton necessarily, but probably enough. It probably will make a material difference.
I did that with like switching tracking to the blog, but like, cause like other people, they won't know like the process stuff like you guys have been talking about, so it's kind of difficult. Like they don't know the structure that Claude Code and like
we need to help you solve this problem. Anjali is going to help us solve this problem too. Like, I want to get you guys more credits. In the past, like it feels the same as cloud credits, like AWS and Google credits and stuff. And what I remember of that, as that's like was this thing a while back. They actually want to give you free credits. Like if you're actually doing real stuff, it's not like what you're doing costs them anything, and you're not a real customer yet. They want you building on it, okay? And so it's weird. They're like, we only give you $5,000 of credits, but actually, you know what'll make them give you more credits? Use them up really fast. Then they get all excited. Like, woo, they're using a lot of credits. Give them more credits. I swear to God, that's like how it all works. And I actually really expect that this is the same thing, and we need to figure out the right person to talk to. Just like they were in here talking today about Cursor, like, they want you guys building on this stuff. Like, if you're doing cool shit, like, we need to figure out how to get your credits.
So,
Like,
so they have a program, we just need to talk to the rep here.
yeah, we mentioned that earlier. Like, we need to
Yeah.
get them in. Like, this is a solvable problem. Like, you should not be limited by credits. Like, you should just bang up down. Like, I'm doing cool shit. I need credits.
If you have the Claude Pro subscription right now, they just use like Opus 4.6. So if you go to the usage page on like the Claude website for your account, then they're just giving you like a free $50 like on-demand usage. So you can just claim that because it's free money. So
I saw that ad.
I'd also say, because I'm building off someone else's GPT login, so I have Codex and Claude Code, and Codex lasts way longer, and like on the same $20 a month plan, and it also auto manages its context window, which is kind of nice. You don't have to do the compact thing. But yeah, I've used them both like in tandem together, and Codex lasts like twice as long.
And just as I'm like finally getting caught up on Claude, because everyone's been talking to me about Claude, Austin Allred from Gauntlet, hopefully is going to come next week, we'll see. He just posted that he's now like all on Codex. And I'm like, come on, I just learned Claude. Like, but so anyway, so yeah, I think, and you know, and like honestly, my CTO in Portugal, he was like, we need to get everybody in the company Claude Code. This is so much better. Oh my God, dude, dump GPT and stop Gemini. And I'm like, dude, like, we're not switching tools every 2 months, okay? Like, every 2 months there's gonna be some cool thing that's like way better. Like, ChatGPT will come out with a new version, Gemini will come out with a new version, and so that is kind of the nature of these things.
So just for fun, other than the new Opus model, Claude is at Workplace. It's in research access right now, and it only runs on the Mac. But it has a lot of the high-level agent stuff, so if you give it a task, it'll like split up the task and like spawn multiple agents. So if you're on Mac, go try that. And
I'm seeing that on my Claude Code. I'm seeing that in the terminal.
In the terminal?
Yeah, it's like I'm like, go write documentation for these 5 things, and it's like spawning 5 different agents, and it's like, boom, and each one's writing researching the documentation for each different thing.
I guess that's probably Opus. But so, but my point is, okay, maybe you're running out of credits on doing what you're doing here, but you should be doing everything you do with these tools. Like if you're studying for tests, you should be making sample tests, you should have a review homework, and especially the new co-working version where it has a bunch of plugins for finance and stuff. So I would, another thing to take away from here is whenever you do anything, just think about how to use AI first. I mean, this is a great way to get, experience in doing all this, because it is difficult to stay on the edge. But yeah, it can help you with all your classes, in addition to do all the homework. But
all right, we're just about out of time. I'll show you one last thing. So again, it's so easy and fun to do to add features, to do other things. I'm constantly just tweaking it. So you saw when I put in the question mark, it had all these extra testing things. There are some hidden extra Easter eggs in there too. And so they don't really quite work yet. I'm just going to show you one as an example. But if I put in Christmas, and the idea is these will happen on certain days. This would automatically happen on the 25th, on December 25th. But this is the way to test it. Is okay. So you see like the plane's a little snowflake. I'm working on like a Santa sleigh, but the idea is like just like on certain days, like like the plane changes into something else, or like maybe it's snowing or whatever. So really easy to do, little fun things like that. All right, so I think that's it for today. Next week, do you want to set up the grading slide? Next week. Not confirmed, and if it doesn't happen next week, it'll just be like the next week after. We're trying to mix things up a little bit. We're definitely going to keep presenting and pitching and doing the work. I like seeing it, but we want to also give you guys different exposures and different things. Next week, what I'm trying to get to come in, and it will be the next week or the week after, is a number of the people going through the Gauntlet cohort. I don't know if you guys have all heard of. You guys know what Gauntlet is? No. Okay. Gauntlet is actually what inspired us to do this class. Gauntlet is a for-profit kind of, yes, but like AI coding boot camp in Austin here, and it basically it's really cool because it's actually free to go through it, and then the people that are hiring from it are the ones who pay for it, and the idea is they take so far programmers, or they're opening it up.
They're
And they,
starting one with non-programmers.
yeah, and they put you through an intensive boot camp to really get you thinking this way, AI first. And when I saw what they were doing, that was a big part of what inspired this class. And I went to them and talked to them about it, and they were really helpful and open about it. And so Austin Allred is the CEO of that, and which is the one who just talked about Codex. And so they have a bunch of people that are going through this that are doing what we're doing, but they're doing it like 18 hours a day for 6 weeks, like super, super intense. And they're thinking about it all the time. And they are really on the cutting edge of using these tools. And so I'm hoping we'll have about 10 or so of them coming in next week. And so that after we do some of our demos, we can break up maybe into some small groups at their tables, and you guys will talk individually with them and get some feedback from them. And they know way more about it than certainly than I do. I won't speak for Eric or Andrew, but they're like deep in using these tools every day and dealing with it, and just be more people you can talk to and get feedback. Anything else?
I'll have one more thing. So we have venture office hours. So TJ, what are yours?
Right now, say for an hour after.
Okay, so mine is on Thursday afternoon. I guess the link's in Canvas for it. I'm on Zoom. I would, historically this class has been mostly, well, half was like a class and half was just talking to mentors. And so this is a slightly different, the previous version. So, I mean, the mentors, in those office hours, you could talk about your projects, you could talk about business, you could just, hear stories. So I would recommend that you use that. And if you have particular mentors that you'd want to talk to, like in particular domains, just let us know and we can connect you with some other people in the community.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Fill out the feedback form. We don't know what we're doing wrong if we don't have feedback.
Yeah, thank you. We want to make this class better.
I'm aware of it. You're not. No, I was in, it's something I'm interested in, and quite frankly, every time I steer away from it, I use very long conversations with Gemini and Claude, they keep steering me back towards it. I've kind of got an idea that, there are certain things, Dario talks about how models just really want to learn, like, he brings in new employees, he has to sit down and you need to understand that the model is really innovative ways in robotics. I got into some other conversations about like, okay, what information do you think? Oh well, I want to know more about these I did advertising for a very long time. Mark Cuban said if somebody tells me their business model, then they get to you, and then I'm going to sell advertising. I kind of feel the same way. I didn't. Yeah, no. I've stopped. Got a radio advertising company. Took that to Dallas for a long time, then to New York. Saved up my money. Like, lived pretty basic for the most part when I was in New York. It was saving money. And that business kind of like doing that. Well, I guess this is when we invest the money. Right. I saved it. Now I've got to that's what I'm doing. I've got free time to figure out what I want to do. Start over. Just like shake the etch a sketch. Start over again. It's like I feel like this is like the perfect time. I got all my requirements. And it's like, right now is like one of the craziest thing ever.
I was gonna say this is such a good time to be in like this kind of class.
Right. Now you're gonna go to. You hear of Multiphon? Open Quad. This weekend. Quadbot, the Multibot, and Open Quad. About using multi-agent systems to create a whole group of people around here that are focused on the tools.
I'll check that out then.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting. I've heard the name Open Claw, but I don't know it, so I'll definitely check that out. I gotta introduce you.
Oh yeah.
This is Ethan.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, I know you're like, I'm like your friend.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, hi, nice to meet you, DT. So, are you a CS major as well?
Yes, I'm the same.
Oh, right on. Right on. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So what like when you're building, what do you like to build with? Like, are you using Replit or Claude or?
For this class, I'm mostly using Replit, but I think the credits are going to be done soon, so we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, I blew through mine really fast.
You're actually building on it, how much you can actually build with just this limited number of credits.
Well, I started my next projects in Firebase Studio just because it's Google. I was like, I don't know anybody using this. It might completely suck. But it's like, right, exactly. I was like, either I'll learn and like nobody's come around to the idea yet, or at the end of it, at least I won't be charged. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, let's definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll be here every single week. But yeah, I'll definitely look into
Yeah, Multiphon. Yeah.
Are you like, I guess you're in the group that runs out, or?
No, it's AITX. So like I kind of got really excited about I guess what it was called Voltbot for like those 4 days, and so I asked Eric, and I was like, hey, how do you set up like an event at Capital Factory? So like I find some time. I can clear my Friday nights, and I'm really interested in this. I want to figure out who else is interested in this. And he was like, well, look at this group of AITX that are already here. He plugged me into like 3 other groups that were. He was like, they're probably thinking along the same lines, and then sure enough, it's like they pop this thing open, and it's like starts this Friday night, and then it's like all day on Saturday. So like Friday night, it's like, all right, we're using this every day. Like wherever you are in the spectrum, like show up. We'll teach you what it is. We'll get you started from either zero or a good coder who's using it, and then like Saturdays.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I don't want to hear like that's chill.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, I guess that's sort of just the whole thing about plug it in. And what they were saying is right. Like I check in with Eric in office hours every week. And it's like, all right, what do you got? What are you thinking about? And it's like, these things. And he's like, all right, well, a more efficient way to think about that. So like for this project, you know, throw this away, focus on these things, it'll work out better for you. Or, you know, just like connecting to other people who are just interested in the same things instead of trying to figure out the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like coming from McCombs and taking like so many classes that are either theory based or, you know, like financially oriented, like not theory but just not fun. Yeah. All right. I'll take it easy. Nice to meet you. Good to see you, Victor. I'll do that all day, but you know, it's been what I was saying. Chat wasn't new, but the ability to code wasn't there. So there's a lot of trial and error in what I've done. 3-4 years, I dealt with the built-in Gemini model in a day, and it was way better than it was on the street. Like, I'm still just running the theory. Then you show me face, and this is so cool. There are so many decisions that give me an nothing to do with code. This is why it's a ton of production. Yeah, software engineers are finally! They're having a hard time. They're having a hard time. Yeah, sort of support. Like everything we want time. And that's like, well, to me it's really cool because like I said, you don't have where it was worked out really well, or it adds character to the item. Besides, and I have no motivation. You're talking about fundamentals of computing. I'm asking why you're underlying. Make it like And part of that, like, so, yeah, I just, like, I don't think good.
grab you for 10 minutes. All right. Thank you, Eli.
I'll catch you later, man. See you, brother.